We've seen what happens when there comes a time in every curriculum that a student is simply unable to understand a particular lesson, no matter how it's explained. The student just doesn't get it. Drills? Painful. What's a parent to do? In my intro video on confidence and closure, the 2 C's, you have seen that there are 4 outcomes to every lesson. Competency? Yes or no. Closure? Yes or no. 2 times 2, 4 possible combinations based on different values of competency and closure. Every single time your child does a lesson, there will be one of these 4 possible outcomes based on competence and closure. And when you can recognize them and deal with it appropriately, you've opened up a whole new world for your children and yourself. This is the 4th and final part of the 4-part video series on the 2 C's and the 4 learning outcomes. Today's video covers the scenario when a student doesn't have competency and also doesn't have closure. I'll show you what this means, how to recognize it, the bad outcomes that typically occur, and what you may do instead to generate good outcomes where children are excited to learn and perform at their highest level. You might remember Sally's classmate Billy from the intro video. Billy likes math, but struggles with it. He tries to keep up with the class. He asks tons of questions, but the teacher tires of it. Naturally, when the class is over, he still doesn't get it and fails the test the next day. Billy knows he doesn't have competency, and he doesn't have closure on that. He doesn't want to move on. He wants to struggle and get it. Remember Ileana? She didn't get it either, but she had closure on that. When she was asked if she was developmentally ready for that, she quickly said, "No, I don't want to do this lesson. I can't do this lesson. Let's do something else." While Billy doesn't get it either. When Billy hears, "Maybe you're not developmentally ready for this right now," Billy says, "I want to figure it out." As a parent, your first reaction might be, "Great." And that's the right reaction. But be forewarned, you're in for a rough ride with lots of potholes. I'm here to help you negotiate those because this case is hardest for both child and parent, but it's also the most rewarding. Here's what usually happens. Billy struggles. He mistakes a dead end for an obstacle and an obstacle for a dead end. He sticks with it, but his approach is all wrong. I've never met a parent who likes to see their child in pain. Parents will do anything to keep their children safe and pain-free. And so what nearly every parent will do in this situation is to intervene and say something like, "Oh, honey, this approach you're trying just isn't going to work. Let me help you." And then the parent starts math-splaining, grammar-splaining, or whatever-splaining. Okay, for this type of problem, here are the steps you follow. First you do this, and then you do that. See, now we have the answer. I'm going to come right out and say it. Don't do this. It's counterproductive, lowers self-esteem, and doesn't build the skills and confidence a child needs to be independent and successful. You have a child who's chosen to do something hard. Follow the child. Instead, say something like this. "Wow, I see that you've chosen to do something really hard. You should be proud of yourself because I know this won't be easy for you." And then this. "Let me know if you need any help," and walk away. Yes, walk away and stay away until your child calls for you. Now, it's true that Billy is going to struggle. He's likely to experience psychic pain. What kind of parent are you not to rush in and help? Well, you do want to help, and the best way to help is to let Billy work it out. He'll figure out the dead ends from the obstacles. He'll make lots of mistakes along the way, and he'll learn from that. But you say, well, what if Billy starts to cry or throw things? Okay, throwing things is not okay. In our home, we don't throw things when we get upset. That's a good thing to say. We press pause and try to understand what's happening when we feel this way, and then try to deal with that. But the crying part, that's actually okay, as long as Billy is in charge. It's not like school where the teacher says, well, if you don't understand it today, you're going to flunk the test tomorrow, and the child breaks down in tears. There, the child's not in control. Here, the child is in control because Billy's choosing to do something hard. And it's hard. Unless he's calling for you or displaying destructive behavior, let him work it out for however long that may take. Kids don't like to see their parents watch them struggle, and it may take a while. At some point, Billy may decide it really is too hard, which is okay, and this becomes the third lesson outcome of closure but not competency. Put the lesson aside, come back to it tomorrow. Otherwise, Billy will eventually get it. And this is the exciting part, because Billy will feel really good about himself. He's thinking, gee, this was really hard. I worked really hard, and I did it, and I feel really good. And you know what? You could say that Billy got high in the good kind of way. He'll remember this feeling and how hard he worked to feel that way. And the next time something is hard, Billy won't run away from it. He'll run towards it because he remembers how good it felt to struggle and then succeed. I often joke with parents that our stealth objective at ShillerLearning is to solve the opioid crisis. Huh? They say. People like to feel good. You could say we all like to get high. As we tell our kids, the best highs come from living our everyday life well and in a principled way. We all like to feel good when we've earned it. And we all like and need to get high. Kids who don't have the opportunity to get closure miss out on that endorphin release from doing something well over and over, as in the second lesson outcome, and from being given the freedom to struggle until they get it, which is the fourth lesson outcome we're discussing now. I'd like to conclude this 4-part series with a quick recap. First, by letting students delve into work they choose, we follow the child and help build focus and concentration skills, a cornerstone principle of ShillerLearning and Montessori, and one that you can use starting in your home right now. Second, when your child develops the ability to know when he or she has both competence and closure, or lacks one of the two, that's a sure sign of a top-notch educator. Give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. Finally, by acknowledging and celebrating the fact that your child is unique, you free yourself from feeling that you need to meet the expectations of others. Your path and your children's path is like no other, and that's a source of joy and wonder, not disdain for being different. It's an honor for me to join you on your path.